there, and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Now, we're going to be talking all things Easter. So I'm excited to talk about it. I'm hoping I'm not going to be the Grinch of Easter for you, but there are some facts that you need to know about going into the Easter break. So before we do that, let's go into the lucky winners from last week who won Book 7. I've personally signed it and it's in the box to go out in the mail today. Judith Hay from Queensland, Jess Maddock from Victoria, and Patty Ruth from Queensland are super busy and excited about winning their copy of the book. So yay! And I'm going to be giving away something a little bit later. Don't know what it is. But anyway, let's talk about chocolate, because that's a lot of the things about Easter, isn't it? Look, and temptation for chocolate and sweets is everywhere in the lead up to Easter. And with Easter eggs of all shapes, sizes and flavours piled high at the end of the aisle of your local supermarket, it can be a tough time for slimmers. Now, more people fall off the weight loss wagon at Easter than any other time of the year except for Easter. So we really need to look at how we can survive it, because it doesn't have to be that bad. You can be in control at this time of the year. Now, one of the keys is to remember this. Maybe you need pen and paper to write this down and put it on the fridge. You can eat chocolate 365 days of the year. So don't use this as the excuse to gorge yourself on chocolate just because it's in the shape of a bunny. Come on, people. I suggest that you have a plan and decide how are you going to handle the long weekend. Now, ultimately, you have three choices. Now, number one, you can stick to your health eating plan and work out the calories and the fats, and you might be able to fit in a couple of the little small eggs into your plan. Or you might even decide that the chocolate isn't worth it. It might derail you, so you'd rather just get a bunch of flowers this year instead of chocolate. Number two, you're happy to maintain on your current weight over Easter, so you've decided to have some controlled amounts and limited amounts of eggs and Easter buns. Or number three, you can decide it's all too hard and you give up and eat whatever you want and face the consequences later. Now, I've done all those three. Over the time, I can relate to every one of them. So what will you do? Will it be 1, 2, or 3? Which is 1, stick with the plan, 2, enjoy in moderation, or 3, you just give up and go for it. Now, if the answer is either 1 or 2, just decide right now how much chocolate you will allow yourself to have over Easter and stick with it. You know, this is what your allowance is. You don't go over it. Now, I've had many, many Easters in my healthy weight range, and I find that having that type of plan can really help you sail through Easter without gaining weight. I know, but I can remember getting my kids to put their chocolates in their bedrooms so I didn't have to look at it all over the house. It's really hard when you open the fridge and there's chocolate. You look on the bench, there's chocolate. You look on the cupboard, it's chocolate everywhere. I mean, it is hard. So make it kind for yourself. And as I said, get them to hide it. Now, one year, I even told them, no matter what I say, how much I beg, scream or bite, that they weren't allowed to give me any of their chocolate. And funny enough, those girls were very happy to oblige me and not share. So let's just have a look at some of the Easter treats that you might be tempted with, and let's see how much they will cost you, because there is a cost, okay? So you've got to weigh it up to see if it's worth it. So now, I've got my little list here. So now 100 grams of chocolate is 30 grams of fat, okay? So straight out, you can always know that by the weight of anything. You just go, okay, well, that's 50 grams of fat for that in weight. So then you know that's 15 grams of fat. So remember, 100 grams equals 30 grams of fat. Now, a good example is this ever popular, the crate. We all love them. I mean, I'm that old. I remember when it was a dozen. Now, one of these, they're hollow, so they're quite light. But one of them is about 5 grams of fat. Not so bad. But if you eat the whole 10 of them, now it's 50 grams of fat, and that's going to be a bit of a problem. Especially like for me, when I was losing my weight, I mainly worked on about 40 grams of fat a day, And then when I got right down closer to my goal weight, I went down to 30 grams of fat. So, I mean, that's going to mean I have nothing else to eat but air. Now, you go to like a little bunny, and I love eating the bunnies because, you know, who doesn't just have to start with the ears first, or do you do the bum first? I mean, we need to vote on that. But anyway, so this little bunny weighs 80 grams. Now, if you eat this, and it's really light, and I don't know how anyone cannot say that that would be easy to eat, because it is. It actually weighs 80 grams, but it's actually 24 grams of fat. You know what I mean? So that's 24 grams of fat. So it's probably a little bit better than having the whole crate of eggs. But and I like it because it's in a controlled amount as well. So you don't get 2 bunnies, you just get 1. But you might have to have half a bunny one day and half the next. White chocolate. Now, a lot of people are really liking white chocolate and thinking, well, that's got to be lighter in fat than the dairy milk chocolate. Well, it's not, folks. It's actually a couple of grams higher in fat than dairy. So you've got your white bunny here. This weighs 150 grams, and it works out to be 39.1 grams of fat. I'm not a white chocolate person, so that doesn't appeal to me at all. But don't think because it's white chocolate that it has less fat. In fact, it's a little bit higher. Now, the small eggs are pretty good too. You know, we all love them for the Easter hunts. And my kids, you know, my family, we really like the crunchies and the Turkish delights and all that sort of stuff. And there is a little difference because when you look at the crunchy, it's more of a solid chocolate, whereas the Turkish delight and the caramellos and all those sort of ones, they're got like a jelly or a centre to them. So it's not like all solid chocolate. So interesting enough, I find this very fascinating that they believe that we would be happy with having 2 eggs as a serve. So there's 5 serves in this. So either that means you just have 2 a day over 5 days, or you're sharing it with 4 other people and you get 2 each. But if you're tempted to eat the whole bag, the reality is that the bag will cost you 28.3 grams of fat. Okay? Now, 28.3, the Turkish, the crunchy is 3 to 4 eggs a serve. So the idea of this sort of thing is probably open it when you've got a lot of people around you, and then you just take yours and then hand them out and then they're gone. But the crunchy ones are a little bit higher. They're 32.7 grams of fat for the bag. Now, one of the things that, you know, you've got to be careful is those big bunnies, you know, the 180 gram, because they actually weigh, you know, as I said, 180 grams, 48 grams of fat for the big bunny. And the key here is as well, when you're doing the chocolate, get the good quality chocolate. You know, get something that's not like a brand you've never heard of. If you're going to do it well and have a nice brand so you enjoy it. But what I've done in the past as well, and I do it each year now, it's a bit of a tradition, I buy these little Maltese bunnies. And they're great for the hunt, but I found also they're good if you want something, you know, like maybe you're doing that tip 1 or tip 2, and you go, okay, they're in a sealed container, like a little pack, so they're controlled, and they work out really well because they are 65 calories and 3.7 grams of fat per little bunny. And that's because you've got the Maltese centre. Remember, it's not full chocolate. So those, you know, the heavy, dark, full chocolate ones, not dark, the dairy chocolates can be quite higher in fat. Now, as I said, 65 grams, 65 calories, 3.7 grams of fat. But what if you eat the whole 8? Let's be honest, we need to know these things, people. So the whole packet is 522 calories and 29.6 grams of fat. I know. But is there such a thing as healthy chocolate? Well, yes, there is. I know, get excited. It's actually the dark chocolate, the one that's 70% cocoa content. It's quite rich, you know, so I don't think it's as easy to eat as the dairy milk, and it's very delicious. Now, I'm just going to show you this. This is what, Diane, don't look. This is the egg that I've got for Diane. Now, we don't normally do chocolate at work, but it is that time of the year. Now, this particular egg I've got for her is 45 grams of fat and 615 calories. So Diane, I've worked out how much exercise you have to do to burn off the egg. Okay, you ready for it? You'll need to do jumping on a trampoline for 3 hours, 20 minutes. I mean, you know, that's easy enough to do, isn't it? Or brisk walking. Now, she loves to walk with her puppy, BJ. Diane, you brisk walk for just under 4 hours. Or moderate swimming of laps. Now, who doesn't love to do laps upon laps? To burn this off, it's 1 hour and 40 minutes of laps. I know. So maybe she won't be as happy that I give her that now, I think, because I've told her the reality. But you know what? The other thing I want to say is that with my grandkids, I don't like to give them a lot of chocolate, obviously, you know, Annette Sym, Weight Loss Queen of Australia. But of course, it's Easter. I'm not going to be the Grinch. So I always buy them some pajamas. Who doesn't love flannelette pajamas? Oh my gosh. Now I got these in Kmart. You know I love Kmart. I do shop at other places, but I do give Kmart a bit of a plug on the show, don't I? $6.50 and all the kids got pajamas. I know. That is such better value than something they eat in 5 minutes. But I also found in there a couple of other things that I thought were great. Look, you know, paint your egg. Yeah, that was $4. And my little granddaughter, Portia, she loves these squishy things. I know Diane was actually squishing away at it. It's actually quite cathartic. It's really good. Anyway, that was, I don't know how much it was, a couple of dollars anyway. So she's got that as well. So just maybe think a little bit more about maybe giving them a few little colouring in books and pencils or some little chickens or something like that to play with, or a stuffed toy. Don't just make it all about chocolate. So I hope that's helped you there. But now the next other thing that we've got to be a little bit careful of is the Easter buns. Now an Easter bun has around maybe 2 to 5 grams of fat. But when you're adding lashings of butter, it's just like chocolate. It needs to be eaten in moderation. A teaspoon of butter is 5 grams of fat. So remember, when it comes to Easter bun, really, it's just fruit bread with a cross on the top. And you can have fruit bread all year round. So don't think you have to have every single hot cross bun on the planet. Now, also the other thing that happens over Easter, we have Good Friday, and we've been raised that, I mean, we're not Catholic, but we've been raised to make it that Good Friday is a meat-free day, and I've just always done it. So fish is on the list. Now, I've got 3 quick tips to give you if you're going to do some fish over Easter, because I encourage you, whether you want to for your faith or what, eat more fish, people. We need the omega-3s. That's important. So the first tip is avoid overcooking fish. It's the worst thing you can do. So that way, you know, when you cook it properly, you won't end up with a dry, tasteless piece of fish. And that's important. The key is not to overcook it. So how you do, you check into the flesh, open it up into the thickest part, and check and see if it looks white. Now, if it is, it's cooked. If it looks still a little transparent when you open it up, then you know you just got to cook it a little bit longer. Tip 2 is use a good quality non-stick fry pan. This will mean that you don't have broken up pieces of fish on the plate. Who hasn't done that when you've tried to turn it and it's stuck to the pan? It's awful. And fish isn't cheap anymore, so you want to make it nice. And I always use cooking spray instead of deep frying the fish. Now, the third one is, yes, you know, I hear it all the time, fish is boring. Well, you know how I zing up my fish, because we eat a lot of fish, is I coat the 2 sides of the fish with spices to pump up the flavour. Now these, I'll show you the 2 that I really like. And you can tell I do it a lot because we buy them in the big containers. We've got the Moroccan seasoning, which is fantastic. It's really lovely flavour. Or you've got the Cajun seasoning. Now that's a bit hot, so I don't use as much of that. But honestly, it will zing up your fish, I can tell you. But you know what? If you're stuck with ideas for your fish, go to the cookbooks. Hello? I've got some fabulously delicious, healthy recipes for you to enjoy with fish, seafood, that type of thing. Now, if you do want more tips and recipes, then go to my website, simplytoogood, symplytoogood.com.au, and actually on the website at the moment, my wicked chocolate cake is up there, and that would be a perfect treat if you're wanting to have something chocolatey, but you don't want to go down this way. and it's all controlled and easy to have. Now, the prize this week, it has to be something chocolatey, yes? So here we go. The winners this week, we're going to have 3 lucky winners. I randomly pick you, and you will win a box of my premium breakfast shakes. You can pick which flavour you want. Now, these are valued at $39, and there's 14 serves, and you'll see that you've got the little sachet, and so they can be taken to work or on the road with you. Anyway, I love my shakes, but did you know you also get a different 14-day weight loss plan with each of the flavours? Plus, I've actually even done, I know, believe it or not, I've done some recipes using the shakes. My banana bread in the coffee one is phenomenal. So how do you win? Well, you know what you got to do. You like, share. Let me repeat that. You like and share. And then in the comments, you write hashtag Symply 2 good. Remember the SYMPLY 2 good. Now, this is our last show for the season. I know it's just gone so quickly, so thank you for watching me. And the good news, of course, is I'm coming back soon. I know we love it. Now, put it in your diary so you don't forget. The next show will be Thursday, the 23rd of May at 2 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, because of all the clocks have changed a bit now. And so thank you for joining me for this wonderful season. I hope you've enjoyed the cooking and the tips. But just remember, I'm going to finish with this Easter tip. Everything in moderation is the key to weight loss success. Take care now. Bye.